my name is Lisa Grace and this is Nailchemy's YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this video.
So our first step is to come in with the Nailchemy nail prep. So I'm just going to pop that on the nail bed. And then I'm going to come in with the Ultra Bond primer. And again, this just needs to go on the nail bed. Use it nice and sparingly. And then we can just give that a few seconds to dry. So I'm using my medium speed acrylic for monomer, not acrylic, medium speed monomer, and I'll be using the A8 acrylic brush. So the first thing I'm going to do, because we are doing an acrylic design, is come in with a thin clear base with the clear acrylic. So I pretty much do this all the time whenever I'm doing an acrylic design. I always pop a thin clear base down. It just makes it easier when we come back to do a redesign. You can just file down to that clear base and you get much better adhesion with your clear acrylic as well. So make it nice and thin. Bit of floof. That's off my jumper.
Sure it's not mine.
That probably could be either of our jumpers. That's now part of your nail, Sam.
I don't mind.
It's fine. It's not really that noticeable. Okay, so colours I'm using on this nail are Harmony and Titanium. So I really like these two. Titanium's one of my favourite because it's a shimmer. It blends really, really nicely, especially if you're doing a colour fade, which we are doing. Titanium is lovely to work with. And Harmony I'm using more for the intensity of the pink, just to create a nice background for the glitter that we're going to be adding. So I'm going to come in with Titanium first, just a small bead, tiny bead. And I'm going to start painting this on at the bottom, and I'm going to build my colour up nice and slowly, nice and thin. So a nice thin bit of the Titanium, and then I'll come in with Harmony and pop this up at the cuticle and start pulling this down, working in the opposite direction. Make sure we're nice and flush around the cuticle. So now I can keep building the colour up just by adding little bits at a time. I'm going to pop a little bit more pink in the middle. Make sure you're taking that side wall to side wall and then give that a good blend down. And then I'm just going to grab a little bit more Titanium and pull that up. Get that nice and white on the end. Okay, so the glitter I'm going to be adding to this nail are iridescent hearts, and I've got them in all different sizes. So I'm going to pull some of these out onto my kitchen towel. It's far too many. But on here you'll be able to see now all the different sizes, and they all give off slightly different colour hues as well. So I'm mostly going to be using the medium ones and the small ones. I might pop one large one in there, and I'm going to be applying these with the clear acrylic. No, you're alright, I'll sort it in a sec. So just with tiny amounts of your clear acrylic, I can then use the residue that's on my brush to pick the glitter up. Sounds like somebody's setting fireworks off.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll get another sonic boom.
So each one I'm just going to pick up a small bead of acrylic, pick up my glitter and then place that on. So I want it quite dents at the top. So I'm going to keep coming in and adding them, and then it's going to give the illusion of them cascading down the nail. Keep it as thin as you can around that cuticle, because obviously we still need to cap this nail. Doesn't matter if the hearts overlap. Two there. This looks really good on a clear nail as well, if you just use all clear acrylic. Then you get different hues bouncing off the natural nail bed, and then when it starts falling down onto the clear negative space at the bottom, it looks beautiful. But we're all about the colours today.
I need some colour in my life.
So I'm just going to add a couple more just in this section here. I've got my one big one. I don't want to add any more big ones because it does obviously cover a large portion of the nail. And they can be quite tricky to see. I think I'm going to add one more at the bottom of the nail down here. Another dinky one. Just one, please. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to wipe my brush off. And while that's all setting, I'm just going to give that a nice firm press. Really press them into that acrylic. So as it's setting, they'll sit a little bit flatter. But to be fair, if I turn that to the side, you can see they have sat quite nice and flat anyway. I'm going to pull this light there. Okay, so once they have kind of set in place, oh, that's glitter everywhere. Once they have set in place, we can then start capping this nail. So I generally cap my nail in 2 beads. You can do it in 3 beads or 9 beads or however many beads you want, it's fine. So when I'm capping a design, try and work with your bead as little as possible. The more you're patting and pulling and pressing this, you'll probably end up putting air bubbles in there. So keep an eye for air bubbles. And I'll keep my brush a little bit wetter as well. And then you can, if any air bubbles do appear, you can kind of wash them out on the top if your brush is a little bit wetter. So pull that down to the end. Make sure you're happy with the shape. Make sure you're happy with your thickness as well by checking down the barrel. I think I'll do this one in 3 beads. You have more control over the air bubbles if you work in smaller beads. So keep checking for those air bubbles, because there's always one pesky little one and it always ends up being really noticeable. It'll be like in the middle of a love heart, and I mean, to be fair, your client's not going to notice it, but as nail techs we notice all those tiny imperfections. It's a blessing and a curse. So last bead up round cuticle. Again, keep it thin. Tap it into place. Keep the nail tilted down. It's going to stop you flooding the cuticle. Bring it round your side walls. And then feather the rest of that bead. Keep an eye out for air bubbles. There we are, we are looking good. I can't see any air bubbles in that. Okay, so I'm going to give this a couple of minutes to set, and then we can get it piled up. Right, so we can hear that this is ready to be filed. So I'm using my new metal file from Nailchemy.
It's not a metal file.
Yes, it is. Metal.
Oh,
Mm.
you didn't see that.
Yep, absolutely love this file. So I'm going to come in straight away and sort my sidewalls out. Make sure that they're nice and straight. Get the underneath as well, just in case you have got any acrylic that's lapped on the underneath. Sort that nice crisp edge out. And then I'm going to come and tidy up this cuticle. Just make sure it's nice and flush. Move over this way a little bit. No lumpy bumpy bits. If there are any lumpy bumpy bits, file them out. Or if they're really, really lumpy bumpy, just put some glitter on top and no one will know. If in doubt, get the glitter out. Always. That's what we do. So nice and flush around this cuticle. Make sure you're using the curved edge of your file. It's going to allow you to get right in there nice and carefully. All the way around the top. I'm forever twisting and pulling my clients about so I can get right in here. Right down them sidewalls. When you're happy with that, we can start working on the top. So if you have ended up going too bulky around your cuticle and you have put too much glitter there and you end up filing through and exposing some of your glitter, don't panic. Obviously the shape and the structure of the nail is more important than the design. So make sure that your filing is spot on, and you can worry about it afterwards. You know, if for any reason you end up filing through one of your pieces of glitter, you can just cover it up at the end or either get another piece of glitter and apply it into your top coat. So there are ways to fix things, but as I've said, your shape and your structure of the nail itself is more important than the acrylic design. I'm going to start coming up and over the nail now. From the left hand side, bring it all into the centre, and then same again from the right hand side. So all the while I'm filing, I'm constantly having a feel and I'm looking and I'm checking that everything's looking the right kind of thickness, that I've got no big lumps down the side. Always checking. And I'll bounce around from the left and the right, keep it nice and thin, always checking my barrel view. The good thing about this nail file is it's quite weighty, so if you're not used to it, it can take a bit of getting used to, but it actually works in your favour. The weight allows the file to do all the work for you. So keep your nail file moving as you're going over the nail. Try not to do any flat spots. Always work with the contour of the nail. So I'm going to check thickness of my apex, and I think that is marginally too high. So I'm just going to file over, and again make sure you're contouring with the nail. And that feels a little bit better. And because we are doing an acrylic design, we need to make sure that this clear acrylic is super smooth. So you've got a couple of options. You can either, I've filed with a 180 by the way, you can either buff over the nail with a sponge buffer, or you can wipe over with acetone, or you can do both. I always prefer to do both. If you are doing both, make sure you buff first. And all this will do, it'll just work out those really coarse filing lines that you've put in with your nail file. It just smooths them out. Just take your hand back a bit. There we go. So give it a good buff all the way over. Like so. Get rid of that dust. And then I'm going to use the apple acetone. And with a not so lint-free wipe, because they never are lint-free, I need to get some wax strips ordered. I'm going to give this nail a good scrub, and this will just melt those file lines as well. See, look, floof, never lint-free. And when you are done with that and happy, that means we can come in with our, I got it off.
Let's say I can see it.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see it?
There we go. Now we can come in with our no wipe top coat. and make this nail come to life. There we go. Once you're happy with the coverage of the top coat, that can go into the lamp for a full cure. And when that comes out the lamp, I'm just going to give it a couple of seconds to cool before I pop the cuticle oil on. And this time we are using the melon, which, as you can tell, I've dropped this no end of times. Keep spilling it. So just drop this on the cuticle, and then we can give that a nice massage in. And there you have it.
So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Don't forget to give us a little thumbs up, hit like on that video, drop any comments that you've got down in the comment section below, and more importantly, make sure you hit subscribe so that you get a notification for all of our future videos. All of the products that I've used today you can find on our website, which is nailchemy.co.uk, and I will see you in the next video.